nSpire AI. What is that? Well, that's a company. They're an AI company out of Silicon Valley. Uh, they have a product that really excited me when they showed it to us. And they've chosen us to be their go-to-market leader or go-to-market partner in the higher ed space. They have a tool that uses AI in a really career-oriented way to help job seekers and coaches, um, get students up to speed. And their whole mantra is help job seekers tell their best story. And they do that in a number of different ways. And I'll try to illustrate some of that now. The great thing about it is it's online, right? So it's 24/7 available to your job seekers, to your students. That's what nSpire is. Who are they? The co-founders are, frankly, geniuses, in my opinion. One of the co-founders and the CEO has a long history with NVIDIA. The CTO and other co-founder is an Intel veteran working on AI projects for Intel. They are in the Bay Area. As I mentioned earlier, we're thrilled to be working with them. They found us, and we were contemplating for months, we have to use AI somehow in our product. But I think rather than a company like ours, whose focus is functionality, usability, process management, rather than us sticking our toe in the water and trying to write AI stuff, why not get some AI specialists to do it? And we're going to be integrating with them. And the integrations will take a little time, but it's coming. Their corporate advisory board, and a lot of their advice has come from experienced career coaches. So they're getting help, I think, from the right places as they train their AI model. And they've done some successful pilots already at 4 schools you see listed there. Why? Why would somebody want to use them? There are other tools out there. We know that I've heard of something called Big Interview. VMOC does a little bit with AI in terms of helping people build resumes. But I'm going to try and show you a live demo here in a few minutes that maybe can help sway your thinking. But when I saw what they were doing, it sort of blew me away. But there's key things that they do. Number one, they help a student tailor their resume to a specific job, which I think is more and more important as the years go by, because guess what? Companies have big AI systems sitting on top of their applicant tracking system. And so when they get 550 resumes for an opening, nobody's reading those. They're getting screened by AI and saying, well, here's the 30 you might want to look at. And those go to the group. So we need to have job seekers making resumes that match job descriptions well. And that's the first thing nSpire does well. The second, and I think most impressive thing that they do, is help the student tell the best story, as I said. So there's all sorts of video-based practice the student can do to, basic pitch type opportunities, to very specific mock interview questions for a certain company and job. They can get all that done. It records their work. It transcribes their work. It scores them, tells them what they need to work on, and it allows the student to share that work with human coaches or peers and get feedback on how they're doing and how they might improve. So it helps the coaches as well, right? Because it's not possible to meet with every student as often as they need sometimes. There's just not enough hours in the day. And, this allows the students to sort of practice on their own, level up certain skills, get better at things, and then come to the human coaches, with all of that information in tow, and get the final coats of polish from the human coaches before they go take an interview or something. So I'm going to give you a live demo here. If you are interested in more information on this product, let us know. If you've got a GradLeaders rep, contact that person. Ben is business development person here at GradLeaders. He's happy to take an email from you on this as well. But yeah, we're happy and eager to see this play out. Just as a heads up, there's a lot of information in the system in nSpire AI that is going to be integrated, fed into our system. And I'll try to explain that as well as I walk through this brief demo. So we've got about 20 minutes left in this hour. I'm not going to use all of that, but I think the best next step, if this interests you in any way, like I said, is just schedule a deeper demo with us and maybe others on your team. Maybe it's a director level demo. Maybe it's the head of your coaching team, whatever it might be. I think a deeper dive is probably the next best step. Let me see if I can find a browser here. I can, bear with me. There we go. So I've logged into my nSpire account. I'm a student. I don't have a lot of data in here. I've played with this a little, but the first thing that I mentioned is the ability to help a student tailor their resume to fit a job. You can see here, I've put a couple of jobs in here. I'm not qualified as a JavaScript developer, that's for sure. My resume is not a very good match. So let's go back to the other job. This one is called Director of Technology and Products, which is kind of what I do. And so I found a job description out there for a company named Cox Enterprises. I copied and pasted the job description in. I uploaded an old resume of mine, and it gave me a 68% match, right, on that particular job. And so Theo, Theo, Theo is the name of the AI coach. Theo took a look at this job and said, these are all the things that they're looking for in this job. And you can see over here, I'm getting green, yellow, or red in terms of my resume. How did you do? Well, you're insufficient in this area. And there's Theo telling me, the job expectation is this. You need to think about some of these things. Your resume talks about this, but here's some things you might want to do better, right? So it's giving the student guidelines on how to maybe better speak to certain things in their resume to be a better match for that job. And, even down here where I'm totally not fulfilled, again, I'm getting the expectation is this. Your resume doesn't mention that, right? And maybe you need to do some of these things on your resume to better fit this job. So that's step one, right? In nSpire. We would recommend that students take a look at this. If they found a job in your system that they like and they want to apply to, maybe they take a moment and have Theo evaluate for them. And that's one of the integrations we're going to be building. We'd like to put a button right there in your system for the students. I'm looking at a job posting. I'm thinking about applying for this. If I had a button right there that said, am I a match for this job, right? Or something like that. And they could click that button and they could get feedback from Theo right there in our system. I think that is huge integration point number one. Now, let's assume for a moment that I spruced up my resume. Maybe I got up to an 80% match for this job and I applied. And now it's time to get ready for an interview. What can Theo do to help me? You can see here, I've only got a 30% job readiness score, and that's because I haven't done a lot of practice. But it lets you practice a sort of tell me about yourself pitch. There are why questions, why this job? Why are you interested in this company? Why do you like this industry or this function, right? So there are why questions that you can answer. There are behavioral questions. And if you go into the behavioral questions, Theo already knows the job you're looking at. He says, well, you really need to focus on these three behavioral areas and do some practice. And you can see there, you've got history, where it's giving you scores on your past video tests. And then finally, there are mock interviews where, Theo will ask you specific questions on this job, and it comes up with them at random, and then you're just asked to answer them on video, and Theo will score you. I'm going to skip this for now, but you can see the types of questions coming up with it here based on the job description that I'm looking at. let's go back here. I've done some work in the past. I think here, yep. So you can see I practice pitch yourself a couple of different times. I got a pretty good score here, but let's just take a look at what Theo really does. So there I am, right? That's a recording of my video. You can see the feedback from Theo, right? There's a transcript of what I said. I didn't say much. I was just sort of testing the system. And so Theo's feedback, right? Brief and lacks detail. It mentions a significant role, doesn't give enough context, and gives a lot of very specific feedback about how I can improve. And if you come down even further, look at the level of feedback the job seekers get. You know, it does the voice to text, so it's able to evaluate your content and rate you on clarity, flow, structure, and conciseness. It gives the student an explanation of what all of these things mean. But to me, even more impressively, is it's evaluating your delivery, right? Eye contact. Are you looking at the camera? Did you use filler words? How's your intonation, your expressiveness, your pacing? All of these things that I think we've historically sort of called soft skills to a certain extent. Theo's helping to evaluate that as well, and gives a lot of meaningful feedback to the students. You can practice as many times as you would like. Hopefully your scores get better and better. Anything also like that you've done, you can say share. And I can send this to other users in the system. I can send this to any other email address, including my human coach, maybe that I've worked with the most. And they can all view the video, view the feedback from Theo, and type in their own comments as well, and give you feedback that would land here in the system as well. So all in all, a really useful tool to help the student help themselves. The other integration that we're going to do initially is we're going to get all of this feedback information back into the administrator's view of the student profile, so that they can see, you know, how their work in nSpire is going. Oh, I can see you've done 2 pitch yourself practices, and I can see the results. And I can see that you've done 3 mock interview questions, and I can see the results. And so the human coach would have visibility into that and understand what they need to help that student with. So to me, it's a great way to help scale your coaching efforts with students. Now that's high level. I'm going to stop talking for now and see if anybody has any questions or comments. I see a few questions in the notes.
Yeah, I think it was just one specifically, which was whether we can use this tool to match to, you know, run a search and say, match me to the jobs I'm appropriate for. And I think the answer to that is currently it's designed to target and help you with the job search on a job you feed into the system. But these are the types of things that we're looking to integrate between our job board.
That's right. So they don't have jobs in their system, right? It's a student self-help training and practice tool. But one of the things that attracted them to us was that we've got systems that have the jobs in, right? So it would be great to be able to put on a student's dashboard at some point, find the jobs that I fit best, right? And have it give them 3 jobs back based on Theo's evaluation of the jobs that are in our system, comparing to their resume. And that's definitely one of our targeted integrations. It's worth mentioning, again, I think I said it up front, nSpire is a different company. So if you like this, if you want to see more, there will be a GradLeaders person on the demo with you, as well as, you know, we try to get nSpire people there as well. They're happy to join the demos. They know their product better than we do and can answer some of the really hard questions that you might have. They also are very good at listening to customer feedback and adding functionality to the system, because it is a relatively new product. It's about 18 months old at this point. But yeah, happy to talk in more depth with you if you find this interesting. With that, I'll thank everyone for their time. We can hang around for a few more minutes if more questions come up. But I think that will formally conclude the webinar. So feel free to go about your day. Have a great week. And thanks again for your time. And I'll just stay online here for a few minutes if you want to chat. Thank you all.